Hello everyone. I am back again with another gardening video. I know it's been a while, but I was taking the time to wait and let my fall crops get established. I have finally gone from a flop to thriving fall garden, which I am super excited about. So I am going to walk you through now what I have growing uh, here in this raised bed here. On this first row, I have some Georgia uh, curled mustards here. In between that, I have some white Russian kale that I sowed. That's doing really well. Then there's also some squares here coming up of some red, super red romaine lettuce in this next section here. There's also some arugula and then some broccoli rabe, and then on the side of that I planted some French breakfast radishes. In that square there I just sowed some mesclun, and then the square underneath it I just sowed some spinach. And coming up here shortly, I'm going to sow some pak choi, which I'm very excited about, a first for me in the garden. Down here are my sweet potato vines that I was trying to grow for eating. They have not taken off like I had hoped, but I still have some time to see if they turn around after giving them a good feeding here. So fingers crossed that I still get a substantial amount of greens. Over here, my suckers that I transplanted are doing beautifully. It is October and I have so many tomatoes coming on. These plants are fruiting. They are just absolutely gorgeous. I could not be more pleased here with the suckers that I transplanted here. No disease, no pest problems. They're just growing up and doing their thing. This is the other one of the suckers that I transplanted. Again, so full of flowers, so many fruits coming on. I even have a nasturtium that popped up down here, which I am super excited about. I'll get into that a little more later. But I finally successfully got a nasturtium to grow. So I'm really happy about that. So we're going to be moving on here in a minute to the next plant coming up, which would be my shishito pepper plant that we're going to be looking at next here. There are a couple of fruits that are coming on, but it has a lot of flowers on here right now, about 7 or 8, so hoping to get a lot more fruits. These cucumbers here are just starting to put on male flowers, but the plants do look relatively healthy, so there is a good chance that it could put on some female flowers here in the very near future, where I end up getting some fruits. This bed, of course, is the heavily laden marigold bed. And these two pots, another first for me this year, is radicchio. So I'm very excited about that. There are a couple of more mustard plants that I have growing in between these two radicchios. All of these things are doing well. This is more broccoli rabe that I have growing in this tire here, also doing very well. That is my Swiss chard. It is most certainly getting bigger. Everything is just kind of laying down now because I just gave them a good water. These watermelon plants here, I'm pretty sure I am not going to see a melon, but the plants are so lush and green. I just haven't had the heart to pull them out, so I have let them stay for the ambiance here. Coming up down here is my white scallop squash plant again. There is a small fruit on there that's going to be opening soon. How many I get we'll have to see. But we still have quite a few days without frost here, so the best could still be yet to come. Back here, I have some peas sowed and also some tender green mustard spinach. I haven't grown that in years. I decided to go back to that again this year. The seedlings have popped up. It's a wonderful type of mustard spinach. These are cherry bell radishes that I have growing that are also doing well with more peas. And here I sowed more purple top turnips everywhere I planted. I do have seed germination, so those are doing very well right now. Let's see what else we are moving on to here. I think what I am coming up on is I are my cosmos flowers. Yeah, I am just so super excited about these. These were my first year growing cosmos. These will now become a regular staple in my garden. They are just absolutely beautiful flowers. They keep the butterflies happy. The hummingbirds also enjoyed them, and of course the bees did as well. I think after this, I'm going to be walking around to the side of the house to show you what else I have growing on. But I'm just super excited right now about the fall garden. In this grow bag are 2 of the red Bikino pepper plants, the volunteers. But also another first for me this year is Mibuna Chinese cabbage, Mibuna. It's a very slender leaf spinach type of cabbage that I am growing for the first time this year. The seedlings are doing amazing. I have more planted that I'm going to be showing coming up down here in just a moment. But these things have been so easy to grow. I am so looking forward to harvesting these. They are really effortless. The harvest time is very quick on these, 45 days, I think. So I am really super stoked about seeing these grow here. These are my red cherry tomato plants. As you can see, these plants as well, all of my tomatoes are just doing incredibly. Those 2 red ones I decided to let stay on the vines because I hardly ever allow anything to stay on until they fully ripen. And these are like the most perfect little red cherry tomatoes, so I covered those. But the plants are loaded with fruits that I'm going to be picking here before the first frost. In this grow bag here, it's more of the tender green mustard spinach. These here are my beefsteak tomato plants that are still doing absolutely beautifully. Still have loads of tomatoes coming on. I planted Plum Beauty radishes in the front of these tomato plants. I am trying to stick as many seeds as possible anywhere that I can get them. So these radishes are up and doing well. So I have 3 different types of radishes growing right now, all of which are doing very, very well here. That is more of the Mibuna Chinese cabbage that I am growing here. Again, doing excellently. Coming up here in the front, I do believe is my, more of the Georgia curled mustard plants. Oh man, everything is just doing so delightfully here with the fall garden and my leafy greens. This is more arugula I have growing, more of the purple top turnips. One thing I learned about these turnips, in the past I've only eaten turnips cooked, and I decided to pick off a couple of leaves and to try them raw. And I don't know if it's just what I'm growing or just how they are in general. I never had them raw before, but these leaves are so tender and mild. They could literally just be picked and placed into a salad for salad greens. I am so excited about these purple top turnips here. Uh, Coming up in front of this, I think is going to be one of my eggplants, one of my Black Beauty eggplants, I do believe here. Once I shift off of the purple top turnips, I do have a couple of eggplants growing on this plant, but wait until you see the ones that I have growing on the patio. I can't believe this is October, but I'm still very pleased with what I have growing on this plant as well. This is like a little mixed bag. It has a black seeded Simpson lettuce in the center, a couple of cilantro plants, some arugula, and I also sowed some mesclun mix that I sprinkled in right here. Sorry about that. My battery almost went out on me. In here, I sowed the leftover Scarlet Nantes carrots that I had growing from the spring. A couple more of the Mabuna cabbage plants that I was talking about. I even had a little volunteer tomato plant to pop up in here, which I think is some kind of dwarf variety. So I might try to pick that out before the cold comes and overwinter it, but we'll see. But that was like, just a little bonus. Some of you all have seen the harvest that I have been picking off of this jalapeno plant here. Really, really great producer for me this year. Another plant I am considering overwintering. But moving on here, look at these are more of the purple top turnips. It's still a little warm and they needed a little water, and I gave them that after I got done recording. But I am just so thrilled at how much success I have had with these purple top turnips. Those are a couple of cilantro plants down in here. Let me tell you guys about nasturtiums. For years, I was going off of what I kept hearing about, oh, throw your nasturtiums in some, raggedy old soil. They don't care. They'll grow anywhere. I have learned this year that is an absolute mistruth, and I think that's the reason why I haven't been able to successfully grow nasturtiums in the past. This year, I sowed these seeds into soil where I had put a lot of vegetable scraps, and I had been giving the soil a lot of nutrition, and I actually am having success. Even if I don't see any flowers this late in the season, I will know what to do next year. So I'm really, really happy about that. These are some purple dragon carrots that I sowed. They had a poor germination rate, but I will take what I can get here. Over here, these are French breakfast radishes that I sowed in a tray that are doing very well here. I'm trying to sow all the radishes as possible here. My youngest daughter loves them. I love them as well. I just cut back my parsley, gave it some fertilizer. But look at these eggplant plants here. This is my long purple. That is my Casper. That is another Black Beauty eggplant. And that's a cute little baby who came out to say hello while I was recording. These plants have not given me a single fruit this year. But look at all of these flowers. I intend on overwintering these plants. I do not have the heart to let these plants die without giving them a fighting chance of being overwintered. They are so huge and healthy that I am going to give this a shot. There could be a chance that I could get some fruit before the year is over. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. These are my bush pickle cucumbers that, although they aren't very prolific, they haven't had a lot of female flowers to come on just yet. I do have 3 as of right now, and there was also another one that came on that I pollinated as well, so it could be possibly 4, I'm sure. But the ones that I did pollinate, whether the bees got to them or not, I always go behind and pollinate myself. these most certainly did take. So I do have 3 that are already pollinated, and then I pollinated that 4th one. So it's looking really good for me in regards to getting cucumbers before this cold weather hits us. So I am so stoked about this. These plants are doing really well here. Um, so yeah, this is what I have going on. I sowed some black seeded Simpson lettuce in here. They are popping up. No matter how many plants I get, some will be better than none. They're not heavy germinators. I've learned over the spring and the summer. I sowed some Bates collars here that actually did start popping up after I finished recording this video, but I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to sit them out or not. We'll just have to wait and see, but they did germinate. Behind that is more white Russian kale that I sowed that did pop up. So I'm super happy about that. That is another pot of cilantro I just sowed as well. So all in all, you guys, I am just super, super happy with how the fall garden is going. Every year I said I was going to give up, and every year well, at least this year Spirit like wouldn't let me. It was like, give it one more try, and I did, and I couldn't be more pleased. So I will be back again when I have more things up and growing. Happy gardening to you guys, and namaste.